Let's compare Android 17 versus iOS 27 and see who copied who did it better, and which update actually feels like the bigger deal. Let's kick things off with the biggest features that stood out to me the most. First off, both operating systems just got a whole lot smarter and just more useful overall. On Android 17, you'll actually be able to create custom widgets just by describing what you want. So you could say something like, make me a widget that tracks deals on the website, or show me events happening near me, and Gemini will actually try to build that widget for your home screen. It'll be insane. But then iOS 27 is doing something just as cool. You can now describe a shortcut that you want, and your iPhone will build it for you. So you could say, create a shortcut that cleans up all the screenshots I took this entire week, and it'll do that. Or another cool idea is you can say, make one that checks my contact's birthday, and automatically send me a notification when that day arrives, so I know. And honestly, it worked like a charm. It would have been super complicated to make those shortcuts if I just did it manually, but with this AI, it was super seamless. The possibilities are really endless. And then another useful feature on iOS 27 is bill splitting. If you're out having dinner with friends and then the bill comes, you can just scan it with your iPhone camera and it'll give you an easy way to split everything. And then you can pick which items are yours without any hassle. Even better too, you can just share it with your friends through iMessage on that group chat, and everyone can just pay their part right there with Apple Cash. It's really smooth. And yeah, I do know that Gemini can also scan receipts and maybe split them too, but it definitely doesn't go that far. Now on the Android side, I'm really glad that we're finally getting full screen widgets on the lock screen again, kind of like the old days. Don't get me wrong, the mini widgets on iOS are nice, but this is a whole other level. I can just swipe right on my lock screen and boom, there's a full list of my favorite widgets. I've got one for my calendar, one to track my Amazon packages, another for smart home controls, and a few more. It's really great. Then on iOS, I really like that the updated Spotlight search. So now you can simply swipe down from the center of the dynamic island and this floating search interface pops up with Siri and Spotlight built right in. It makes jumping between apps, finding files, or launching pretty much anything just feel a lot faster without needing to go back to the home screen. It's honestly something that I wish stock Android had, although there are third-party apps out there that can get pretty close. I also still think Apple's Control Center is just better than what you get on most Android phones, and iOS 27 just makes it even nicer. For example, you can tap on the timer tile and it opens up this clean floating panel with a slider so you can quickly set a timer without opening the clock app. Plus, several controls can now be resized even further. I mean, things like the connectivity controls and the focus tile are just a lot more expandable. Honestly, Apple's Control Center has just become so good over the years that it's no surprise that a lot of Android manufacturers have copied many of the same ideas. But then we flip the script and here's something iOS really needs to steal from Android. It's basically these new bubbles feature in Android 17. There are these floating app windows that stay on top of your screen. We've had something like this before, but it was mostly just for messaging apps. Now you can use it with almost any app. You just long press on an app on the home screen, hit bubble, and it floats around for quick access. You can even stack multiple apps together too. It just takes multitasking to a whole new level, and since iOS doesn't support third-party apps displaying floating windows at all, there's really no way to just recreate this on this device. Another area where Android still wins is dark mode. Android 17 can now force dark mode on apps that don't even officially support it, like Amazon. It isn't perfect by any means, but I still like it because it's easier to use at night on your eyes. And the nice part is that you can choose which apps get forced into dark mode instead of applying it system-wide. When it comes to screen recording, iOS used to be the better option that I liked, but I'd say Google has taken the crown now because there's this one new Android 17 feature called Screen Reactions. Basically, you can record yourself with the front camera and it automatically cuts you out from the background, like you've got a built-in green screen. Then you can react live to anything on your screen, and you can even move yourself around too. It's amazing for short form stuff like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, or even if you're just trying to explain something to someone else. Google is also going to introduce something called Pause Point, which is designed to just help cut down those distracting apps. So if you mark an app as distracting and try to open it, Android will basically stop you for a few seconds and suggest something healthier instead. Like it might suggest doing a breathing exercise, maybe reading an ebook instead, or simply ask if you want to set a time limit of 5 to 30 minutes. I really like it because it just encourages healthier habits without actually locking you out of the app. And one thing that I'm really happy to see is that Android and iPhone are just playing a lot nicer with each other. For instance, with iOS 27, AirDrop can now share entire photo albums with Android phones and even Windows PCs. And on top of that, Apple also improved RCS messaging quite a bit. iPhone users will now be able to reply to specific messages when texting Android users, and they can do emoji reactions on photos and videos being displayed properly on both ends. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and hopefully this is the beginning of Android and iPhone working together a whole lot better. Now, both of these updates also bring a ton of new AI features, and honestly, a lot of them I've been constantly using. What's funny though is that each platform has AI features that I wish that the other one had. For one, I love that both OSs are getting way more context aware. Like when someone texts you asking for those photos from that trip that you guys took, both Android and iOS can recognize what you're talking about and suggest the exact photos, calendar events, or information that you need right there inside the conversation. So instead of digging through your phone, it's already there waiting for you. And the same thing happens too during phone calls. I mean, let's say you're talking to an airline about changing a flight. Your phone can automatically pull up flight information so you don't have to search for it while you're on a call. So it's definitely awesome to see it on both sides. iOS is going to roll this out to every iPhone user, but on the Android side, it's still limited to just a few phones like the latest Google Pixels or Samsung devices. Another feature that I really like on iOS is called Extend. When you're setting a wallpaper in the lock screen, you can now simply pinch outward and tap on Extend. And then Apple Intelligence will just generate more of the image beyond its original borders. It's pretty awesome, and it actually works relatively well. Now, it's not exactly something that we haven't seen before in the AI world, but the way it's integrated into the OS is super smart because normal everyday people, including myself, will actually be able to use it a lot more frequently. There's also an iOS 27 feature called Reframe, and this one is honestly pretty impressive. While you're editing a photo, you can completely change the angle or just the composition, and Apple Intelligence will regenerate the image from that new perspective. It almost feels like you took the photo from a different angle. Now, some Android phones like the latest Google Pixels have something similar called Auto Frame, where you can just reframe stuff, but Apple's version just gives you a lot more control over the final result. It's definitely not as cool as well. I was also really impressed by Safari's new Notify Me feature. You can just keep track of pretty much anything on any website. Sure, Chrome already lets you track price drops on certain websites, but Safari takes things even further. You can tell it exactly what you want to watch out for almost any website. Maybe it's a shoe size that's out of stock, but you're going to want it to check frequently to see if it comes back. Or even something super specific like notifying you whenever a website posts a specific type of article. You can get really specific, and Safari even gives you the option to check daily, weekly, or monthly, whatever you choose. Even cooler than that, you can also create custom extensions. You can just tell Safari inside there to describe an extension. I made one so that way it can automatically make all websites dark, and it did it. That one is honestly really cool. iOS also launched its own AI wallpaper generation right inside the wallpaper picker. You just describe what you want, and your iPhone will create it. Android users have had this for years though, but it's still nice to have that extra bit of customization on the iOS side. Now over on the Android side, Google added some really smart AI features too. For instance, filling out forms on websites or apps is about to get a whole lot easier because Google is swapping in Gemini for its autofill service. Now autofill has existed on Android for years, but with Gemini integrated, it'll be able to dig deeper into your apps and data and pull things out like passport details, license info, addresses, and other personal information that you otherwise would have had to dig through when you're filling out forms. It's going to be way more powerful than before, and it's going to be a lot more powerful than what iOS offers. There's also Rambler, which I'm genuinely pumped for. Basically, Google is replacing the old Gboard voice typing system with Gemini. So instead of speaking like a robot and just hoping your phone understands you, you can talk naturally to it. You can pause, change your sentence halfway through, or mess up, and Rambler will essentially clean that all up. It even supports multiple languages in the same message too. So say you speak Spanglish or you just bounce between languages mid-sentence, it should still be able to keep up. It sounds pretty incredible. And on iOS, they do have a great voice typing feature as well, but it's not at this level. Google is also making Android's ecosystem a lot better with a feature called Continue On. It's basically Android's version of Apple's handoff feature. So if you're working on something on your phone and then you go pick up your tablet instead, Android can automatically suggest opening that same app so you can continue where you left off. And if that second device doesn't even have the app installed, Android can still sometimes launch the web version instead, which is a really nice idea. And I will say, even though iOS brought some major improvements to its AI, the biggest reason that I think Android is still far ahead is because Google just keeps releasing these mind-blowing features that none of us would have really expected. This new one called Gemini Spark is exactly that. It's basically raised the bar. You can tell your phone to do something and it'll literally take over the screen and do it for you. Like, you can tell Gemini to book you an Uber to the airport, and it'll open the app, type in the address, choose the correct airline, and once it's done, it'll notify you to confirm the ride. All without you needing to lift a single finger. And that's just one example. You can tell it to book you concert tickets, or maybe you're driving home, you can just tell it to order you tacos from DoorDash. That's going to be insanely great. Now, before moving on, lately I've had a bit of a problem. No matter how much I brushed, even with my electric toothbrush, my teeth just never felt quite as clean as they did after a visit to the dentist. That's until I started using the Leifin Way Pro to sponsor this video. I've honestly been loving this toothbrush for many different reasons. First off, it's got a really incredible transparent design. It looks super futuristic, and it's honestly a really nice piece of tech to have sitting on your bathroom counter. And aside from the looks, it's got a lot of great tech built inside that just makes it super powerful. For example, it combines up to 66,000 vibrations per minute with a wide 60-degree oscillation brushing motion. So instead of the toothbrush vibrating in place, it cleans from multiple angles simultaneously. It gets the dirt out way better than your average electric toothbrush. It even comes with different brush heads to suit different brushing styles, like one for removing plaque and another for ultra whitening. I also like that it gives you a ton of control too. In the Leifin app, you can view a brushing report showing you how well you brush your teeth. You can set up 6 different modes too, each with different vibration intensities, oscillation ranges, and oscillation speeds. So you can technically have over 1,200 possible brushing combinations. It even has a smart pressure sensor too that can tell you if you're brushing too hard and automatically adjust to help protect your gums. And probably my favorite thing about the Way Pro is how you can charge it, because it comes with a magnetic wireless charger that lets you just toss it on there and it charges right away. It's genius. And the battery life is kind of insane too. A single charge can last up to 70 days. It's also fully waterproof too, so you can even use it in the shower. And when it comes to shaving, I also love using Leifin's P3 Pro electric shaver. I got some really nice close shaves with this thing. It's super compact, which is great for travel, but surprisingly powerful too, because it's got a dual drive linear motor that delivers up to 12,000 cuts per minute. That's insane. And again, it's fully waterproof. So if you're looking to upgrade your daily routine, whether that's brushing your teeth or getting a nice clean shave, definitely check out these Leifin products through the top links in the description. Okay, now back to the comparison. Like I said, Apple is finally making the iPhone feel a lot more intelligent, and it does have some really clever tricks that Android just doesn't have. But I wouldn't say that it's caught up to Android just yet. Gemini is just way more powerful and feature-packed. It's crazy too, because both platforms just revamped their entire AI assistants as well. On iOS 27, Siri got a brand new look. It's got a dark glass pill-shaped UI that pops up straight out of the dynamic island. Meanwhile, Gemini is getting these glowy, smoky animations that make it feel way more alive. Both of them look really nice in my opinion. The bigger change though is how deeply they're integrated into each operating system. On Android, Gemini is pretty much everywhere now. It's built into the OS itself and woven throughout a ton of Google apps that Google's calling Gemini Intelligence. I mean, apps like Gmail and Google Keep even have Gemini Live built right in, so instead of digging through menus or searching for things manually, you can literally just have entire conversations with the app. Apple is also integrating Apple Intelligence throughout iOS as well, but it's taking a slightly different approach. Instead of dropping a full AI assistant into every app and making sure that you know that it's an AI feature, they're doing it very subtly. So you will find it helping generate Safari extensions, extending wallpapers from the lock screen, and powering little tools throughout the system without there being any indication that AI is running. It feels more like regular features that are working rather than an AI assistant that's living inside every app. Plus, Apple's voice assistant, Siri AI, is a whole lot better and a lot smarter now too. You can have entire conversations with it, just like Gemini Live. You can also customize its voice and adjust the tone and pace to better suit your preferences, which is really nice. Where I think Apple falls a bit behind though is with the visual aspect. I mean, sure, Siri can now actually analyze photos and answer questions about what you're looking at, and even generate images, including people from your contacts, but Gemini does all that and simply takes it further. I mean, it can generate full videos from photos in your gallery, it can create music inspired by your pictures, it can give you a personalized daily brief with everything important happening in your life, and of course it can even use Gemini Live with your video camera so you can point it at something and just ask questions in real time. That's on a whole other level, far superior than Siri. And by the way, I saw a lot of people saying that Siri is only better now because it's running Gemini in the background. That's not entirely true. You see, while Apple did partner up with Google, they didn't exactly use any of their assistant services or AI infrastructures. Gemini isn't secretly sitting in the background answering questions for you. Instead, Siri is still using Apple's own foundation models, and what Google actually contributed was helping train those models using reinforcement learning and outputs generated from Gemini. So in simple terms, Google just helped Apple make Siri smarter, but Google isn't actually running Siri behind the scenes. And honestly, I don't really have a problem with that since we'll all benefit from it. Finally, let's go over some minor changes that I appreciate having in both platforms. Starting with iOS, I love that they added a slider to let you quickly adjust the intensity of the liquid glass. That's definitely a nice addition since I know some people really like liquid glass, but they also don't want it to be completely transparent where it makes it hard to read the text, so now you can adjust it properly. iOS also supports extra large widgets too that just take up the entire page of the home screen. You can even stack them too, which is really nice. The lock screen clock on iOS can now be toggled to be extremely tiny, just like the status bar. That's going to be great for people who just want their wallpaper to be the main focus. I definitely wish that Android would implement this as well. Also, a ton more apps on iOS now support landscape mode, including the weather, health, Find My, reminders, shortcuts, and more. It's kind of crazy. I just can't believe landscape mode wasn't supported for all of these apps in the first place, but I guess better late than never. iOS 27 also separates volume sliders for ringtone, alarms, and timers, alerts, and system sounds in the settings. Now over on Android, there are a few nice additions too. Whenever an app tries to access your location, you'll now see a small indicator dot at the top right of the screen, so that way you know that they're trying to access it. And if you tap it, you can see which app is trying to track you. It's just like when apps try to use your camera or your microphone. There's also a new contacts picker menu, so when an app asks for your contacts, you can choose which specific ones it gets. Just like how on iOS it lets you do this. Android's screensaver is also getting a new low light mode, so during the day, you can keep your normal screensaver like photo slideshows or smart home controls, but once your room gets dark, it'll automatically switch to a super dim clock that's easier on your eyes at night. And then there's now a dedicated satellite tile that quickly takes you to the satellite connectivity settings. And there you have it, Android 17 versus iOS 27. There's honestly a ton more features and little changes packed into both these updates, but I wanted to focus on the biggest ones. Otherwise, we'd literally be here all day, and I actually did make videos reviewing Android 17, which I'll leave in the cards if you want to go into more depth. So after looking at everything, who actually had the better update this time around? Personally, I'd have to give it to Android 17. I mean, don't get me wrong, iOS 27 is a huge step forward. Siri finally feels like the assistant Apple promised years ago. The new dynamic island interface looks great. Spotlight search is a lot more powerful. On-screen awareness is generally useful. And there are tons of thoughtful quality of life improvements throughout the OS. But to me, Android 17 still feels like the bigger leap. Google isn't improving existing features, it's introducing entire new ways to use your phone. I mean, just take Gemini Spark. You can literally just tell apps what you want to do, and they'll take over the screen and control them and complete the task for you. You also have Create My Widgets, which lets you generate custom widgets with AI. Rambler will make voice typing feel dramatically more natural. Gemini Autofill would just take the pain out of filling out forms. And that's all on top of the AI features that Android already had that iOS is still working toward. That's just my opinion though. Let me know down in the comments which update you think did it better this year. Also, if you want to check out some of the coolest tech you can actually buy right now under $100, tap this video on the screen so you can go check them out. There's 20 of them, so there's a lot. As always, thanks so much for sticking around to the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!